one who got that had, you know, he did a big thing. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, إِنَّمَا جَزَاءُ الَّذِينَ يُحَارِبُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَيَسْعَوْنَ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَسَادًا أَنْ يُقَتَّلُوا أَوْ يُصَلَّبُوا أَوْ تُقَطَّعَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَأَرْجُلُهُم مِّنْ خِلَافٍ أَوْ يُنْفَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Those people who wage war against Allah and His Messenger, then their reward is that they should be decimated and slaughtered, or they should be crucified, hung up on some wood, killed, crucified, or that their right hands should be cut off and their left feet cut off. If you get your left foot cut off, you're going to have to lean on your right hand with the thing to walk around. But if you get your right hand cut off and the left foot, you have to walk around with one foot. So it's a sign that the person did something big. Why would Khidr cut the boy's head off? Because uquq al-walidain is from the akbar al-kaba'ir. So he received that serious punishment. Now what are some of those uqubats? What is the reward for the person who is doing uquq al-walidain? And there are many. And we're talking about in the dunya before the hereafter. Because the hadith said, out of all of the sins, the one sin that Allah Ta'ala holds the people to account before what He gives to them in the hereafter punishment is this issue of cutting off the ties of relationship. You will get your punishment right away. As the story of Khidr showed. As well as Ikhwani, the story in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim with the three people who spoke in the grave or in the cradle. Only 3 people spoke in the cradle. And one of them was a man by the name of Jurayj, who was an abid, zahid. He was making the salat. His mother came and called him, Ya Jurayj, Ya Jurayj. While he was making the salat of the sunnah, it was wajib, obligatory for him to listen to his mother, but he was making the sunnah. He said while he was praying, should I listen to my mother or should I keep praying? And he kept praying. The mother came back and called him the next day. Ya Jurayj, come down. He said, my mother or the salat. He neglected his mother and continued to pray. She came back the 3rd day. Ya Jurayj, should I listen to my mother or salat? He neglected his mother. The mother made dua against him that Allah Ta'ala causes him to see the fitna. So the dua of the mother is understood. Right away he saw the fitna. I don't have time to go through that long hadith. The point is, right away he saw the fitna. Right away. It didn't wait until 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. The dua of his mother happened right away because out of all of the sins that the people do, the one sin that Allah makes people responsible and accountable for immediately is this issue of uquq al-walidain. Before we talk about those punishments, another thing from the hadith of Jurayj that's important to consider is that again, Ikhwani, when we think about uquq al-walidain, one of us may say, well, I know someone who's really bad to his mother, and you don't look at yourself as being the one who's fallen into uquq al-walidain. Uquq al-walidain falls into a lot of things. Just as you can have birrul walidain and your parent is dead, and you can have birrul walidain while he's dead, you can have uquq al-walidain while your parents are dead. Your father, your mother died, they have a debt, and you don't satisfy that debt, you have the ability to do so, and you're responsible for it, that's uquq al-walidain. The things that you do right now when your parents are dead, one of them is dead, and people are coming to know you as the mujrim, the fasiq, the fajr, the sharib al-khamr. People know you as that. The one who's in the street, he's getting into fights, he gets arrested, he has bad akhlaq. That's uquq al-walidain and they're dead. So don't look at yourself, I'm practicing, I'm not like Fulan who punched his mother, I'm not like Fulan who stole the money from his own mother. Uquq al-walidain is you making ghiba of your parents. You saying to someone else, my parent is this, my father is this, my mother is this. You talking to someone about ghiba and namima. When they asked the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam what is ghiba, he said, dhikruka akhak bima yakrahu. Ghiba is mentioning something about your brother that he doesn't like you mentioning. That's your brother in the deen. What about your mother and your father? The one who mentions something negative and evil, even if it's true, about your mother or your father, that's uquq al-walidain, the shahid. Don't be of the people who see yourselves as, I don't fall into this. Uquq al-walidain is in many manifestations. Many. If they ask you for something, you don't give it to them. They give you an amana, you don't do it. Lying to them unnecessarily. All of that is uquq al-walidain. So this man, Jurayj, was a practicing Muslim. And he disobeyed Allah and he fell into uquq al-walidain while practicing the deen. He's doing the sunnah and he's praying, obedience to Allah. But when his mother was calling him, this salat now shouldn't be done. The salat is the sunnah. Listening to his mother is wajib. One of us wants to go to Al-Medina to study. And his mother is a single mother. And he's having 4 or 5 siblings. The father is MIA, missing in action. He's lost. We don't know where that dude is. So the mother is struggling. She says to her son, who's 21, he gets accepted to go to Medina. She says, don't go. I need you to stay here to help me. He has to stay there and he should stay there. To go and travel, he'll be doing what Jurayj did. He's trying to obey Allah, but he's obeying Allah by disobeying Allah, and that doesn't work. That doesn't work. He wants to go to Hajj, he wants to go to Umrah. The mother or the father says, no, he already did Hajj, he already did Umrah. He wants to Sunnah, an additional Hajj or Umrah. The parents say, no, I need this, I need that. Your absence is going to be a problem. You should stay there. So the point is, just like Jurayj was practicing the deen, there are those of us who try to practice the deen and we fall into uquq al-walidain. I'll give you an example of something that I experienced recently. A lady who was a Sikh, 3 sisters, all 3 of them became Muslims. Something I've never seen before. Sikhs generally have a hatred for Islam, even more than Hindus, more than Yahud and Nasara. They have a big hatred for Islam and the Muslims. In this family, 3 of the sisters embraced Islam. The youngest one embraced, 21 years old. In the house, the mother, who's a Sikh, supports those 3 sisters. She doesn't believe, she smokes cigarettes, she drinks, she watches TV with music, and she has a boyfriend. When the young girl became a Muslim, the young girl wants to leave the house to go live with her friend. The mother said, don't do that. I'm going to tone it down, and you have your room. Go to your room and you get privacy. But the girl, she believes, no, I can't stay, I can't exist, when she can exist. So if you are a revert Muslim, if you are a young Muslim, your parents are difficult people, still you have to have birrul walidain. So the young brothers who are trying to practice this religion, the young sisters, don't make the mistake of Jurayj. You're trying to practice and your parents are doing crazy things. They believe that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam hazir nazir. Rasulullah knows the ilm al-ghayb. You can make dua to Rasulullah. They believe in all of that. Yarmi and khatam. They believe in all of that. Sufism and all of that. Although that is true, you can't fall into uquq al-walidain. Not one time did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam allow any of his companions to disrespect their mothers. Not one time. Because the mother or the father was a kafir. Not one time did that happen in al-Islam. He commanded them to give ihsan to the mother and the father, even if they were opposed to Islam. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ حَمَلَتْهُ أُمَّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ وَفِصَالُهُ فِي عَامَيْنِ أَنِ اشْكُرُوا لِي وَلِوَالِدَيْهِ. Verily we have commanded mankind, not the Muslims, mankind. This thing about birrul walidain is in Judaism, it's in Christianity, Sikhism, Hinduism, Buddhism. It's universal. Just as Allah Azza wa Jalla created everyone, and He put them on the fitrah to say La ilaha illallah. That's the fitrah. He created everyone as well on the fitrah of having al-ihsan to their parents. But the environment, it makes them say Isa ibn Allah. The environment makes them say there's no God at all. The environment corrupts their fitrah. Uquq al-walidain is the same way. The fitrah, he has a natural disposition to respect his parents. But the environment corrupts it. He brings his children from the Muslim world and the Muslim values to the West. So the child, he starts to see different things and he falls into uquq al-walidain, his environment. His environment becomes a problem. In the story of Khidr said he killed the young boy because he was afraid that if he grew up, he was going to make tughyan to the mother and the father and kufr. This is what our children do. Tughyan, it means to be oppressive. The child goes out on Friday, you don't see him until Sunday. The mother is worried, sick about the child. Some of the